Welcome to Ask Maureen, where we cover historical image analysis, genealogy, and how to work with your family photo collection. I'm Maureen Taylor, the photo detective, and I'll try to answer your questions. Do you have family photos that could use some help? Perhaps they are faded or damaged, and you don't know what to do. Well, there's an easy answer to that frequently asked question. It's called Vivid-Pix. Their Restore application improves your photo in seconds. Really, seriously, it does it. I call it the Vivid-Pix miracle. Today's guest is Randy Fredlund of Vivid-Pix. Randy is an engineer, an inventor, and an entrepreneur. For the past 7 years, he has been one of the principals in Vivid-Pix, a company with the goal of making image improvement accessible to everyone. Due to a character defect, he actually enjoys signal processing. Randy, I have no idea what that means.
Well, it's the science behind improving things like audio and ultrasound and even images is all signal processing.
Okay, if you say so. He's a well-rounded guy. He does photography, he travels, he camps, he hikes, paddles, skiing, and then you blog, all for the fun of it, right? And we chatted several months ago about Vivid-Pix Restore and how it works. But you're back because now you have a new patent. So how many patents do you hold?
Well, I'm the author of over 150 patents. Now, the really neat thing is I actually own 2 of them.
That's pretty cool. The rest of them were from a job that you once held?
Right. I worked for Kodak for quite some time, almost 30 years. And during that time, I amassed a number of patents as the author, but the assignee, as they call it, was Kodak. And since Kodak's demise, many of those patents have gone on to help out companies like Apple and Microsoft.
So what happens when you are working for a company and your name is on a patent?
Well, you go through a process that takes quite a bit of time, back and forth with the USPTO, which is the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
Mm-hmm.
And you essentially play a little bit of tennis with the examiner. You know, you lob what you think is your invention over the net, and they smash it back at you saying, no, that's not patentable. And then you return saying, oh, yes, it is. And you go back and forth a number of times, and in order to get to the final point where either you don't have a patent or you do.
But when you worked for Kodak, they own all your patents, correct?
Right. As part of with just about every big company, anytime you work for them and are handsomely compensated, part of your work agreement when you sign up with the company is to say that any intellectual property that you generate belongs to the company.
But you also said that you own 2 of your own patents.
Right. In being a principal in Vivid-Pix, the patents are assigned to Vivid-Pix, and now I am part owner, along with my partners, of the 2 patents that we have had issue in Vivid-Pix's name.
Mm-hmm. Now, the patent process takes years. It's not just like you're lobbing back and forth for like a couple of weeks.
No. If you could compress it all, the actual time taken is probably, a solid month, but it's spread out over years.
Mm-hmm.
And there are occasional exceptions to that rule, but it usually takes at least 3 years for this whole process to happen.
So tell us about the new patent for Vivid-Pix. What does it do? How did you made an improvement to the product?
Yeah, the new patent is all about expanding the contrast range of images and in more than one way. And then after we've done that, selecting or further improving the rendition of the image on the basis of experience with consumers and what they like. So I didn't say that very well. Let me try once again.
Actually, want me to put up something on the screen? I can show you a 9-shot of an image that I have in the collection.
Great.
And then you can talk about it in that term.
Sure.
That might make it easier.
I think so. 9 images are worth 9,000 words.
Can you see that?
Yep.
So I selected an image from my computer, and instantaneously, pretty much, I mean, I can't notice the lag in seeing the 9-shot. It automatically gives you 9 different images with varying contrast. And your patent improved this process.
Right. We automatically analyze the image content, not really the content, but the tone scale in the 3 different colors, and do some automatic manipulations on that basis. Then, in addition to that, we use our experience with what we know to be the preferred way to present the image and put that right in the middle of the 9 images. So our calculated result is the one you see right in the middle.
This one right here in the middle.
Right. And because we can't know for sure what the important part of the image is, we provide the 9 different renditions of the image so that you can select different variations of contrast and brightness, which is generally a personal preference.
Right. So my eye goes to the one below that one.
Okay. I wouldn't pick that one because the woman on the right is a little bit, I'd say, blown out, like too far to the white. But that's right. That's your preference, so that is the right one to pick.
Right. The one in the middle, though, is more diffuse.
Right.
As far as contrast goes. So you get to see a little bit more. And you can go in to VividPix and then further refine this image, which makes it pretty cool.
Yeah. We don't want you to be left in the lurch without any choices beyond this. And after what we hope is a very short period of time, you can learn how to adjust the images to be more to your liking and even better than what we've provided for you.
So if I click this one, so the patent has to do with the 9 selections.
Yeah, the patent has to do with creating that center image.
And you sent me the patent number, which is pretty amazing. 10,218,880. Is that right? Or is it more than that? Is it 10 billion?
No, it's millions, and it goes back to the founding of the United States. So all those numbers are from the beginning of the United States of America.
So if you have an inventor in your family, and I'm willing to bet, Randy, you're not the only inventor in your family, given how many things you've invented, that you could search Google Patents for past historical patents, if anyone has an inventor in their family. But Randy, the new patents are not publicly available, correct? Or are they?
No, the difference between an old patent and a new patent is age. But no, the real difference is after 20 years, that whatever has been patented ends up in the public domain. So that means anybody can use it.
Ah, very cool.
So everything before 1999 is in the public domain.
But when you start to create, when you're thinking, you're noodling around and you're thinking, God, I'd really like to make this even better than it is. you have to have some background knowledge of what patents are already out there, correct? I mean, you can't just say, I'm going to make it better, because then you're going to be lobbing back and forth and the patent person is going to say, well, we already have a patent like that, correct?
Exactly. You're exactly right. Do you have any patents, Marian?
None.
Well, you seem to understand the process pretty well. One of the things you really would like to do before you submit your invention is do a prior art search, which means do exactly what you just talked about. Look through all the old patents, and if not all of them, but the ones that are pertinent, and also anything that may not have been patented that precludes the novelty of your invention.
Mm-hmm.
So you're only wasting your time if you just write it up and file it. You need to explore the area before you do so.
And obviously you've done that. So I mean, I would imagine that you have something else in mind for the future that you can't talk about, because this one's been a long-term process. You're already thinking ahead to something else you'd like to do, which I know we can't talk about because that's all proprietary. But I mean, I think it's very interesting that VividPix can put in their advertising that this is something you've patented, you've created something. I mean, that makes it very special. And what does all of this mean for the consumer? Like, if you're a VividPix Restore user, like I am, I use it because I don't want to learn a more complicated program. Why would I? This does what I need it to do, to improve the quality of the photographs I'm studying so that I can see more detail. But what else does your patent do for consumers? Make it.
Well, the patent is like I said, it takes years. So the patent is a reflection on where our technology was 3 years ago. And we have built into Restore the principles that do what you want, where you don't have to understand all the signal processing, all the image manipulation. You just get to reap the benefit. And that's
exactly.
That's what the patent's about.
Exactly. Yeah. Science was never my best subject. That's why I'm an image person. But if anyone is interested in trying Restore, I'm going to include in the show notes a link so that you can go over to the website and then click through. You can try it. If you go, it's very, very easy to use. This took seconds. And let's just zoom in on this one. So there's the original on the left, and then this is the fix on the right. So it's made it more black and white. Yeah. Even though the original was color.
What you can do is if you like that sepia look,
yeah,
you can go select sepia instead of color, and it will render it more like the original. And then you can change that color with the color balance sliders.
So I'm going to make it.
No, I probably should be using the blue one. See if that one helps you.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. I've just moved the blue slider just a little bit. It makes him look more like what it must have looked like when they first took the image.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is you could change it to black and white and see if you like it there, because in many images that have minimal color, sometimes it's better just to render the tone scale, meaning only the black and white. Why don't you just try that and just see what it looks like?
So I just did it to black and white mode. Now the interesting thing is, when I'm playing with an image, and I call it playing with an image, and I put it into VividPix, and I'm trying to see specific details, I will tinker with the processed image, the vividness of it, meaning the sharpness of it. I'll change it from black and white to, and I'll even do badly faded, or, if I'm working on a caption on the back, I'll use the faded document or text. I really do play with it. I'll make it color, sepia, black and white, whatever makes those details that I'm studying pop a little bit more. So this is a photo identification tool in addition to a photo restoration piece of software, at least from my perspective. And that makes it pretty neat.
Yeah, in using the program, we definitely encourage people to go ahead and experiment and try the different settings to see what renders the image in the best way for whatever purposes you have.
Right. So this patent that you have, now VividPix has several different products. They have Vivid-Pix Restore, which is really for old photographs and old documents. And then you have one that's intended, the first product was for underwater photography.
Right.
Is that right?
We have the underwater photography patent is actually, it's also quote unquote signal processing. So it does apply to Restore as well, except we do some things a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. The two programs are quite similar in appearance, but they're very different under the hood. So we're doing different manipulations depending on what the type of image is.
Mm-hmm. I've seen some of those underwater images that people have run through VividPix, and they're stunning. They get rid of that cloudiness that appears in them. And then if you would like to try VividPix, I'm going to put this on the screen. Make that full screen so you can all see the code. It will also be in the show notes. So my guest today has been Randy Fredlund of VividPix, a former Kodak engineer, but he is still an engineer just for himself and VividPix. And he's a very creative guy, entrepreneur, photographer, outdoorsman. Right, Randy?
Yeah, I tried to get treatment for being an engineer, but it failed.
It failed. It's a special skill. All right. Well, Randy, thank you so much for joining me. Do you have anything to add on the whole patenting process? Would you encourage people to run right out there and start trying to patent their ideas?
Oh, that's a whole different podcast.
That's a whole different podcast.
But I would caution people from running right out and signing up with one of the many organizations that says we will get you a patent, because those things tend to get you a patent, but not one that's worth much.
Right. So you need an intellectual property attorney.
Yeah, you definitely need some people to help you. It will not be cheap. It will be thousands of dollars. And you need someone who is not only trying to get you a patent, but trying to get you a valuable patent.
Right. Because now you own this patent.
Right.
Which is a lot.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, right, exactly. You hope it translates into other people using it.
Right. If you want to get into a little bit of the minutia, what the patent gives you is what they call an exclusionary right, which just means that whatever you have described as your patent, as your invention, is something that you can tell people, no, you can't do that without a license from me. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily allow you to do what you want to do, because there may be others who have patents in the same area. Mm-hmm. But it does allow you to ask for a license fee from people who are practicing your invention, as they call it.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I know that when I look on the back of an old photograph and it says patent pending or patented, and sometimes they give you the number, I immediately go to Google Patents to see if I can see what it was that they were trying to do.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you see patent pending or a patent number listed on the back, you'll find that of any product, you'll find that they're expired or that particular patent doesn't apply at all.
Well, patents last for... How long do they last for?
You can Well, one of the ways that patents are used, and you described it, is numbers are placed on products or product packaging, and there's rarely any effort made in order to ensure that whatever that patent protects is actually in that particular product. More of a marketing sort of thing.
I see. And I know, as you said, that I will look for these patents and often not find them. So the patent pending thing on the back of a photograph doesn't actually tell you that it definitely exists. It just means that this particular company or photographer was going for it.
Right. It means that they've filed something. They're trying to get a patent, but you have no idea what it eventually. You know, if they provided the application number, then you might be able to find it. But the fact that the patent is pending does not mean that they have a patent.
Okay. Well, Randy, we've been talking about patents and the new patent that VividPix just received to further make tweaks to your photographs. So remember, when you're using VividPix, and I put a link in the show notes if you'd like to try it, you pick the one in the middle.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You pick the one you like best.
You pick the one you like best.
And that is the right selection.
That's right. That's right. So I like the one that was a little darker contrast with a little lighter over the shoulder.
Right.
But the one in the middle was fine too. So anyway,
right.
VividPix really, I call it the VividPix miracle for a reason. It's changed what I do with photographs in a big way, and I hope it'll change what all of you listeners do with your photographs as well.
Maureen, what I tell everybody is that we do magic. Miracles take a higher power.
Well, the VividPix magic, I guess I should say. It's the VividPix magic. Really.
Okay, I can buy that.
And you're absolutely right. But when you do it and you have a really poor quality image and you run it through VividPix, it feels sort of like a little bit of a picture miracle to me.
Yep. And if you invite me back sometime, I'd love to talk to people about scanning images, because we can make, occasionally we can make, a silk purse out of the sow's ear, but the better the sow's ear, the better the silk purse.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Randy, for joining me, and thank you all for listening. Don't forget to check out the links and the show notes with this episode. Thank you. Thank you for watching and listening. You can submit your questions for future episodes using the Ask Maureen button on MaureenTaylor.com or through any of my social media contacts. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram as The Photo Detective, and on Facebook at Maureen Photo Detective. I hope you'll come back for the next show. Don't forget to send me your questions.